Welcome to the Great Awakening Ministry. I am Minister and Yogini Joanne Lee. And on this week's show, back again, is Jo Dunbar. Jo has practiced as a medical herbalist since 1999. Although she treats a wide variety of health problems, she has always had a special interest in long-term fatigue and especially the effect of stress on health. In 2004, Jo founded Botanica Medica Herbal apothecaries in London and Surrey, and in 2018 closed her shops to work from her apothecary set within her herb garden in the hills of Hampshire. Jo grows many of the herbs which she uses in her dispensary and makes all her own herbal medicines by hand. Jo is a member of the Order of the Bards, Ovates and Druids, a modern pagan order which honors our connection to the land and celebrates the ceremonies of the Wheel of the Year. She is the author of Candida, the Drug-Free Way, Recovering from Stress, Burnout and Fatigue, Spirit of the Hedgerow, and Secrets from a Herbalist's Garden. We discuss in the show using herbal medicine for burnout and fatigue and stress, which leads to anxiety and depleted immune systems, and how we can all empower ourselves and take control of our health using natural remedies.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Jo, welcome back again to the Great Awakening Show.
Thank you, Joanne. It's really lovely to be back here again and to talk to you again.
Yeah, it was wonderful last time. Very, very eye-opening with your amazing knowledge and wisdom that you have about herbs. It's just beautiful. So,
thank you.
Jo, let's just jump right in. And
Okay.
I'd like you to tell us about your new book, Nature's Remedies for Stress and Fatigue and Recovering from Burnout, because so many people are really stressed out in this world at this time. It's really crazy. So please tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've wanted to write this book for a long time because stress, burnout and fatigue is huge, and I've been working with it for about 25 years, but it's getting more and more and more. And there isn't really an answer. There isn't much help. So I wanted to give people hope. And we'll probably come back to that point, because really hope is in itself healing, you know.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about false hope. I'm talking about effective strategies backed up by science that can help people to get better. So I wrote this book because when people are diagnosed with this problem, it's not a test. There's no laboratory test. It's a judgment by usually your GP. That's if your GP chooses to believe in, shall we say, chronic fatigue, because some of them don't, and some of them do. And so thousands or probably millions of people have been told they're malingering. And in fact, countless of my patients say to me, well, I've gone to my doctor and they said there's nothing wrong with you. And I say, well, that's not true. We know there's something wrong with you. We don't know what is wrong with you. So what they should say is, I can find nothing wrong with you, but there's something wrong with you. So even if you've got a lovely doctor who says, look, we can find nothing wrong with you, but we know you're unwell, they don't have much to offer. And the reason for that really is that because it's almost a lifestyle problem, actually.
Yes.
You know, and we'll come to the viruses later, but it all boils down to stress. So people come to me as a last resort, you know, and I often have thought to change my business name to The Last Resort.
Well, because they've tried everything else and it's just like, no,
Really?
the natural, but Jo, we have to go this way. You know, we've been curing ourselves, right, from herbs and the natural ways, energy medicine, herbal medicine, for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years on this planet. Why is it only in the last 200 years that we have to take all these got to say, toxic medications,
Yeah.
that really do not cause, they cause short-term,
Oh, yeah.
a
Well,
little
if you
bit,
look,
but it's,
if
yeah,
you look at when they came out, I mean, they were a godsend. They came out during the war, the Second World War. Antibiotics, absolute godsend,
yes,
and their effect is look at corticosteroids, very dramatic, and to be honest, very useful sometimes. Um, and what I think is really important is to work together.
yes,
I'm very keen on integrative medicine, and there's absolutely a place for mainstream medicine. But there's also a place for energy medicine, herbal, homeopathic, because homeopathic is not placebo. There are not 4 royal homeopathic hospitals in the country built on placebo.
no,
No way.
yes,
It works. We just don't quite know how it works, but it does work.
mm,
So yeah, just to finish off, I mean, I wrote this book to
yes,
help people to understand how they got to this position, and then to really help them unpick that, give them the scientific studies so that they feel validated, and then to give them a lot of information. This is how you can start to get better. It's not enough. You do need a professional, because it's a big illness. You've had a complete, pretty much, system breakdown. You do need a professional, but there's an awful lot you can do for yourself to do the foundation, which is absolutely needed, really.
yes. And
Yeah,
and why in our fast-paced, world, does stress and anxiety lead to, I mean, it leads, this is the beginning.
yeah,
The stress causes so many other symptoms, and it leads to all these serious health problems, and then of course it depletes your immune system, and
yeah.
that's when serious, really bad things can start happening. So, it's good to stop that before it goes to even worse, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we do live in, well, I call it a fear-mongering society. You know, there There are all sorts of theories as to why, but it's all about fear. Even if
Yes.
you get your electricity bill, if you do not pay this on time, well, okay, I've only just received it, no point threatening me, I've just got it. And you see this everywhere, the news, I just call it the bad news.
Oh, we don't even watch that anymore. We
No,
refuse to watch it in my house.
no,
Yeah, too
nobody
much.
watches the news anymore because they
No.
can't bear. But you're right. So this constant dripping of fear mongering,
Yes.
saturation of anxiety,
Yes.
and our cortisol and our adrenaline shoot up.
Mm.
And back in the day, long ago, when we were walking in the bush and we happened across the tiger or the bear, of course our adrenaline shot up. We
Hmm.
either ran like mad, or
Hmm.
we fought it off, and then if we survived, we went back to our clan, all
Hmm.
relaxed, everyone having a laugh,
Yes.
maybe drinking a bit of mead and chill.
Yes.
But now we've got the lion or the tiger constantly.
Yes.
Will I get to the kids on time? Traffic
That's right.
wardens. Have
It's
I? Am I
constant
back in time?
bombardment, isn't it? Constant bombardment of
Constant
stress.
bombardment.
You
Yeah,
can't live like
exactly.
that in that flight and fight mode all the time.
No, it's not like that. Absolutely. And then absolutely. So up goes the cortisol. We know what steroids do. They use it as a medication to push down the immune system for inflammatory conditions. But it does more. The stress actually distorts our mitochondria, which are our energy factories in our cell. It distorts the shape and damages them. And so people are exhausted, physically
Wow.
exhausted. There's a scientific reason why stress makes us tired. Mm.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it does it through inflammation and oxidation. So huge free radicals damaging the cells and causing inflammation. So
Yes.
that's a clue, because that's what we can do. We can eat loads of antioxidant foods to
Yes.
mop up this.
And we do really, Joe, we live in such a toxic society, at this time. We're talking about air poisoning, earth poisoning, food poisoning. The food in the supermarkets, and it's not even food, it's synthetic processed food. It's got hardly any nutrients. It's got no live energy, prana. We need that prana of live fruits and vegetables to live. We are living human divine beings. We need to eat live foods with that
Yeah,
beautiful pranic energy into it, and all them foods. And so many people eat such as terrible dead foods, and it's all around us. It's all around us, bombarding us with all of this, this negativity, and with all the stuff on the television and the social media that we consume. It just all adds to it, doesn't it?
It does. And you're right. There's very little nutritional content. I'm lucky. I can afford to buy organic vegetables. But
yes,
to be fair, organic vegetable prices have come down a lot.
Yes.
They're not very different from ordinary vegetables. And, one can grow even on a small scale. You can grow some of your herbs on windowsills and things. So we can bring that prana into, it is possible. However, when you say that to someone who's exhausted, they might just think, no, forget it. Forget it, honey.
Yeah.
But then you can start off small. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You can start off small and go from there, and build up.
Yes. And Jo, as a medical herbalist of 25 years, so your book that you've just written, it's full of remedies to heal stress, fatigue, and burnout. Can you give us just a few of those remedies? Because I know anxiety and stress is so many people suffer from anxiety, which is a form of stress, really, isn't it? So
yes, it is. Yes, absolutely.
A few of them.
Some of my favorite herbs, I love valerian, but some people don't get on too well with it. Very few, but some people don't. I love passiflora. Those are just fabulous. So in my book,
calm? Do they
calm? Yeah, absolutely. They calm that great stress and anxiety right down. I give a lot of remedies for calming and for supporting the adrenals, like licorice, proper licorice. I'm talking about turmeric, and I give recipes there. Homemade recipes that you can do to take down the inflammation using turmeric, but using turmeric properly so that it will work. But then there are other herbs that you can grow in your garden, if you've got a garden, or you can grow in a pot on your windowsill. Lemon balm. It's just, during COVID, every single patient I spoke to was completely off the scale with anxiety. I spent my whole time calming them down, and I would tell them about this beautiful herb, lemon balm. The smells of lemon. It's relaxing and peaceful, but it's also an antiviral. What a perfect herb, And then you've got licorice, which is supporting the exhausted, burnt out, even atrophied, that means shriveled up adrenal glands. It nourishes it, feeds it back to life, but it's also antiviral. What a fantastic herb.
Brilliant.
So we've got even our beautiful roses. Just the simple act of smelling the rose brings down, brings down cortisol. That's they've found that in science. So it's all these remedies are all around us. And that's what I've stuffed my book full of. Not really but herbs that you see in my apothecary. I haven't really talked about that. I've tried to make it relevant to the person at home. Things they can just find in their garden, in their kitchen cupboard, and in the pocket to use.
That is so beautiful.
Another lovely remedy. How about this, Joanne?
Yes.
When people are so stressed and burnt out, they reach a point where they can't convert their stored sugar into glucose. So very often at night they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a start, and that's because their blood sugars have dropped. So I give them a recipe, and I say, before you go to bed, you have a little bit of porridge, which is like a nervous system tonic, but calming tonic, with some almond, which helps to raise up your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. It's a bit more oat milk, and then a little bit of honey. So just lift your blood sugars a little, and you have that before you go to bed. Maybe keep some in a thermos flask next to your bed, so that when you wake up with a start, you've got some food in your tummy, so you won't wake up. But when it runs low, you've got some more which you can plug down. Your blood sugars settle again, and of course the protein in the almond and the fat keeps your blood sugars even, so that you can let go and sleep all the way through the night. Because if your blood sugars drop, then your body thinks, oh, there's a problem, and up goes the adrenaline again, and wide awake, and you can't sleep. So everything's right. winding it down,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
nourishing the body.
yes. And that, because so many people can't sleep, they have insomnia, and that is due to, all the stress of the day, but it's so important. It's so important, these herbs and food, herbs, quiet time, meditation,
Yeah,
exercise, it's all the lifestyle, isn't it?
lifestyle. Yeah. And getting out into nature,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, in Druid, I'm a Druid, you see, and
Yeah,
in
that's
Druidry,
wonderful.
we refer to something called Nuithre, which is pretty much prana, or the vital force, which you get when you're out there. And
Yes.
they have found, when you hug a tree, or when you're in the forest, or when you're near a waterfall, or when you're at the beach, that you get these negative ions, which help to recalibrate us, and we feel good, and we do feel good.
Yes.
So getting out. But again, when you've got someone who's absolutely shattered, sometimes it's a big ask. And then again, in that book, I give them, music that you can listen to just rebalance those vibrations. Even just watching something on the screen about, sorry, is that bothering you, that door?
No, it's
No.
fine.
Okay, about even planning to go on a retreat. That's joyful. Oh, where am I going to go? Oh, that looks
Yes.
lovely. That looks lovely.
Something to look forward to. Yes.
Something to look forward to, exactly. And you
Mm.
feel joyful, and that's a very great healing emotion, joy.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is. And that's beautiful. Mother Earth heals us.
Yeah,
That's so important to take your shoes and socks off and just walk on Mother Earth. She heals us. It's like the American Indians. I read somewhere that, when someone was ill, really gravely ill, they used to dig a hole and put them in it, and
wow.
then just put all of the earth around them and leave them for a couple of hours. And, it was miraculous, the healing effects of Mother Earth. And I think,
Yeah.
I call this time that we're all going through like a great awakening, really. And I think we're coming back to Mother Earth. We're
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back to her. We're coming back to the simple way of living. We're coming back to heal ourselves naturally, it's so beautiful because for me, Mother, when I came to nature, she was the one who really drew me and really, really helped me spiritually, calling back all
I
those
agree.
parts of ourselves that we give away in our life experience. She brings that wholeness again,
Yeah,
I believe,
yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I have a saying, which is I say, in nature we trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
true.
speaking of the earth, our electromagnetic field is in perfect alignment with the earth. But of course, now with Wi-Fi, we live in all these satellites. We live in the soup, we bathed in these other vibrations. So putting our feet, or
Yes.
some do the wild swimming, the cold swimming, all these things bring us back into alignment and attunement with the earth.
Yes. Yes, that's right. It's so important. It's so important,
Yeah.
because we've lost that, wearing our rubber shoes and never connecting, never going into a forest, never
Mm,
going. It's so important to go back there and feel that
yeah,
healing because that really does healing.
it
And
does.
and tell us, could you just tell us, she was talking about Druids. Just give us a little bit about that because it's so fascinating. It's so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Well,
I've practiced Wiccan since I was, doing my full moon and my new moon, and my little rituals and stuff since I was 18. But it's
yeah,
just fascinating. Tell us a little
yeah.
bit about what
Yes,
entails
well,
being a druid.
Druidry is, I mean, it's got a lot of connotations which are rather wild and really
False.
rather wild. Yeah, not true. But it's a nature-based spirituality. So we honor the earth, we honor our connection with the earth, we honor the seasons. We've just had solstice now, the summer solstice, and I like to think of that as the birthday. Oh, it's your birthday. It's the sun's birthday. And so we all stand up on the hill, in this case on a hill, and other people are on stone circles. And as the sun is rising, you're honoring the earth, And I find this interesting because the ancient Egyptians honored, well, they didn't actually honor the sun, they honored the energy behind the sun, which the sun represented. But so the sun is is our life force.
Yes.
It gives us the life force. And our earth is like the mother that holds us, and the two together. And of course, the moon also holds us very much. Without gravity, without tides, we would really be in trouble. So those three planets are very important to us, and they're very much a part of Druidry. So Druidry, like Wiccan, we celebrate the Wheel of the Year, and refer a lot back to the stones, the herbs, the stars, the animals, and we see the sacred in nature. As far as I'm concerned, nature is, if you want to use the word God,
Yes,
if you want to
I
use the
believe
word
that.
God or Goddess,
Yes,
it's
it is.
expressed through nature.
It is. It is.
And the web of life.
Yeah.
So we're all equal. We're not, this pyramid system with the humans at the top and, laboratory mice at the bottom. No. We're all equal, spinning around like this disc, all on an equal playing field. And lovely, it's interesting because we're starting to recognize that. And what's so interesting? Whales are coming up to ask for help. Elephants are communicating with, there's this, suddenly humans and animals are starting to communicate again.
Yes.
Not love. I do some animal healing, and the animals tell me where they want the herbs. They say, I'd like it there, please. Or they say, Joe, I want you over there, please, not too close. Okay, now you can come closer because I like you.
And animals, they do it through pictures, don't they? It's like a picture.
They do.
It's
they
so
do through
beautiful.
pictures. They make themselves very clear.
Yeah.
Very, very clear. Yeah.
That's beautiful because we all share there's only one story. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's one creator, God, Goddess is the creator. And we all have the soul consciousness, which is in the same within every living being on the planet. There's only one soul consciousness that we all share. It's beautiful,
Yeah, we are a drop in the ocean, we're all a drop in the ocean. And together we make up the ocean. So how can one drop be above another drop? It's not. No, we're all together.
I think this is what I'm talking about. I call it the unity consciousness and love awareness that is prevailing. It's coming up now. It's like with the people, with all of us people feeling that, because we want peace, we want love, we want to share with our brothers and sisters around the world. It's this beautiful unity consciousness that's arriving.
Wow. I find that very interesting. I'm going to be a bit controversial here. The people want it. I'm not sure the politicians want it.
No, but there's that percent up there. You're exactly correct.
That
the 1%, the rulers, above even the politicians, the really ones who run the world, they don't want it, but it's unstoppable. It's the Great Awakening. It's the revelation. It cannot be stopped. It's for us to grow spiritually and have that peace, have that paradise, have heaven on earth. Maybe not in our lifetime, but it will happen.
No, I think it's happening already.
It is. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Already happening. So it is happening in our lifetime.
It is happening in our lifetime.
Because
I believe darkness has within it the seed of its own self-destruction.
Yeah. Do you know how I see it, Joanne? I feel it very strongly, and I've seen a few spiritual leaders say this as well, where I call it the swamp, right? The bad news. And I say to my patients, don't go there. Don't listen to that rubbish. There's nothing you can do. So don't go there. They're not going to ask you. They didn't ask your opinion about the war or COVID or vaccinations. No, they didn't. So forget it. Just don't pay attention. That's the swamp. Rise up, and we work at this vibrational level.
That's right.
There are some people who want to be angry, so they're going to be down there, and some people are here. And there's a sort of a divergence happening where the vibrational field is forming, which will support, shall we say, the swamp type there, that will support them. And those who want to live in love and peace there, and you cannot live in love and peace in the swamp. Can't. We're at another level. We're above that. We're not paying attention. We're not giving it energy anymore. We're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on from that. And it takes self-discipline.
Yes.
Not ruminating, not feeling resentful, remembering who said what way back when. You've got to let that go.
That's right. And it's all about we're not going to be in their system. The matrix, I call it Maya in yogic terms. The yogis call it Maya, which is the matrix, which is the temptational world that has been created. It's the false world that has been created. But we don't, while we're in it, we are part of that. But we just turn around. We don't fight it. We don't talk about it. We don't go in with it. We turn around and we build anew. Yes. We build our new beautiful earth of peace and love, and of the higher vibration. So, and I believe the more you do that, the more you do your inner work, you do your meditations and and you live in a natural way, the more you elevate your vibration, the more it doesn't affect you. And the more you become the master of your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. And therefore, whatever you give out is always going to come back in a good way. Yeah. And it doesn't, and nothing affects me anymore. I don't get down anymore, about things, when I used to, because you can't let it affect you.
No, you just you just focus on doing the right thing.
Yes. And helping others, being of service to
helping others, being kind. That's right. If there's nothing you can do about it, no point.
Yes. We build the new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's so lovely. And I wanted to talk about, because we touched on it a little bit, why mainstream medicine finds it really difficult to offer anything except antidepressants, medications for exhaustion, anxiety, stress, and fatigue. Isn't it time for them to come from a more holistic approach? Because that's not working. All the pills, it's too many pills. You see, once you take one, that disrupts the delicate systems of our body,
So some people, I've seen it. Some people need those antidepressants. They are so
dumb. True.
They need that support, but the antidepressant will never cure you.
No.
I make a joke. It makes you feel better about feeling awful,
Yeah.
Really. But some people really need them.
Yeah, they do.
Because they simply are not even on the ground, they're under the ground,
Yes.
But then I think look, this problem, as we've said, it's a lifestyle problem.
Yes.
It's a holistic problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mainstream medicine isn't holistic. They have certain drugs, they have a small amount of time.
They treat the body. They just treat the body. They don't treat the mind so much, and the spirit, which is all together.
Yeah. It's a mechanistic approach. So they're not able to. What would be great, again, we're not going into us and them, because but working in an integrative method would be good. Yes, that would be good. And because I've worked many, many times with people who have had to have antidepressants or sometimes sleeping tablets like Zopiclone or whatever, because without it, they simply can't sleep.
Yes.
And sometimes people, funnily enough, with this burnout, it disrupts the circadian rhythm where the person is exhausted all day, then at 11 o'clock, ting, they're wide awake.
Wow.
And what happens is they stay awake all night because they're trying to get some sort of go to sleep at 5. And that's a very unhealthy pattern.
Yes.
So taking the sleeping tablets can be helpful. However, what you need then are the herbs to help to build the immune system, the adrenals, restore the nervous system, detox the body because there are a lot of toxins, add the antioxidants. There's a lot of work that the herbs can do underneath that. And then you start to reduce. And finally, the person is free all the time, educating, food, diet, lifestyle, finding joy.
Yes.
Finding joy. Changing your life, possibly.
Yes.
All these things. So it's not a quickie. It's a long term, but very holistic. But so they don't have it because they don't have the means. It's not like Lyme disease. Lyme disease caused by Borrelia, the spirochete Borrelia. They use antibiotics. If it's early enough, they kill it. Great, job done. Okay, but with a very similar outcome with the terrible fatigue. In this case, there isn't a drug because there isn't a single cause.
Yes.
And even if there is a single cause, it's got an awful lot to do with your lifestyle. A lot of people think it was started with a virus. Oh, I caught a virus and I got ill. But I explain in that book, no, because before that, you will usually, these people are work hard, play hard, 120%ers, always.
Yes.
And they're caring, or they're working hard and playing hard, or they're doing something, always pushing. But they've forgotten how to hear that, Joanne, I'm feeling really tired. I need to have a little rest. They can't hear that anymore. They keep going. Then they get a virus, it floors them, but they're still going to fight their way out of this. They're going to bust their way out. So they keep going. Then they hit the wall. That's what happens. So it's a lifestyle thing.
I believe, maybe, 10, 20 years time, the health industry is going to be so different, as we grow and evolve and our consciousness heightens and everything, we become more, living off the earth and more back to Mother Nature, and as our environment becomes less poisoned, I believe, then I believe that people are not going to get so ill so much, and we're not going to need hospitals so much, people will be taking and being empowered and learning to heal themselves, mostly, if it's not acute things. We're always going to need, the surgeons and the doctors if it's
Definitely,
a problem. But I think people would take more responsibility for their health and,
responsibility, absolutely, which is re-empowering. It's also interesting if you look at how we work. If you think about, I can think of my great-grandfather, back in the day, this was 100 years or so, maybe more. He was a tailor and he had to sleep under the cutting table. I mean, he was like a slave, really. And he worked very, very hard. And then my dad, who worked, in a corporation, worked his guts out. Now I live here, I work here, I've got beautiful views of the fields beyond my herb garden. So we're evolving where life is gentler.
Yes.
And we're also taking the power. So now I work for myself, I don't have a boss, making me sleep under the table or paying me, hardly any money, so I can hardly feed my family. We have a different way. So yes, we are. Our world is evolving so that it's gentler, and we are becoming more empowered, and also recognizing how much we love nature and how much we need it.
Yes, because really nature's got the cure. Even the Amazon. Look at the Amazon. We haven't even gone into, all of the beautiful healings and medicines that we can get from, from nature yet. We're still discovering so many more. But really, I would really love for you to tell us how does herbal medicine healing work? Because, I remember you telling me in our last conversation about how you just know the herbs they speak to you. You just know when this person comes in, because it is an individual approach, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. So every patient. So if I had a family of 6 and they all had the flu, they will all have a different prescription because they're all individual. Yeah. And I mean, I've been doing this a very long time, so I'm very familiar with my herbs. But there is a degree of intuition that comes in. And very often a herb I would never have thought of, but I always check the signs and it's always right. Amazing. But how do the herbs work? That's an interesting question. So within the herbs, there are hundreds or thousands of what we call constituents, biochemicals. So tannins, alkaloids, flavonoids, volatile oils. Within those volatile oils, different classes, alcohols, terpenes. So a myriad of natural chemicals. And these natural chemicals work, we call synergistically. So they work together to make a perfect healing, So that's the one thing. And plants work together. They work as a team. And so that's one way. It's a biochemical response that goes on, that has an effect on our chemistry and affects, so it's sort of, it's almost like a lock and key system. This lock is needed to open this key, and therefore that healing effect in the body is stimulated, right?
Mm.
But there's another thing that I think is very interesting. And as I'm sure you know, Joanne, every single living thing on this earth has its own vibrational frequency. So the heart has a vibrational frequency. I find it interesting that something like hawthorn heals the heart, you know. And if I just go back a step, earlier last century, there was a guy called Dr. Pop, and he discovered that we have our frequency, but when you have cancer, the frequency becomes discordant, not coordinated, but discoordinated. And he found that if he applied mistletoe, the frequency was repaired to a coordinated frequency.
Coherence.
Coherence, sorry, that's the word, yeah. And the person got better.
Wow.
So it strikes me that something like hawthorn has the perfect frequency, like a blueprint for the heart. So let's say this is my heart, and let's say it's not well, so it's a bit incoherent. And I take my hawthorn, the perfect frequency, I put it on, and it adjusts my frequency and heals. It's a theory, and it's my theory. I've never seen it anyway. I think that's what might happen.
Yes.
So you have certain herbs like elecampane for the heart or chamomile for the tummy. Yes, there are the biochemicals, but I think we live in an informational universe. It's quantum physics. It's vibrational. Vibration is information. Yes. Biophotons, it's light. Yeah. So I think that the plant imparts information, and our cells accept this information because we evolve together, and they start changing, and the person starts to get better.
It's like the energy, the plant's energy, goes in. And because we are one with nature, we're not apart from it, we're not separate, we are organic, just like the plant. We're made of the same stuff. Yeah. Therefore, that's where it can come in and cause that beautiful frequency, that vibration, resonance, and bring it back to coherence. That's amazing.
And it's true, because I can tell you here in my apothecary, when I had one in London, it happened often. People would come in, they'd never taken a herb in their life. They'd come in, there's a certain herbal odor in here. They'd come in, they'd go, oh, just smelling that makes me feel well. And I used to think, but you've never smelled that smell before. And yet something in your cells knows.
Yes.
It feels good. It recognizes it. We evolved with plants.
Yes.
And we know each other. The plants know how to heal us. And we know that, oh, this is good for me. It feels good. And quite often I've had people, I'll say, how are you getting on with your herbs? And they say, well, I'm not all my symptoms have gone, but I know the herbs are helping me. And then the next time, more and more symptoms are ticked off the list,
Yes.
So people know.
Yes.
They recognize that.
That's just so beautiful. Frequency, it's the healing medicine of the future. Frequency medicine of all of our frequencies. What we give out is our frequency, isn't it? And it's just, like music, has a frequency to heal. Everything, everything can. Oh, it's just beautiful. And Mother Earth.
I often suggest to people to just go onto YouTube and listen to the solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah.
This music, because sometimes their brains going. Zzz, I can see when they're sitting with me zzz, like this, and then I'll say, "Listen to this," and I'll just click on solfeggio piece, for instance, and you go, all this beautiful. And I say, "How are you feeling?" They say, "Oh, I feel relaxed just listening to that." And so, music, but also crystals. People joke about crystals, but we use quartz in our watches.
Yes.
Quartz is used in our technology because the frequency is absolutely perfect and reliable.
Yeah.
So the crystals have a frequency.
Because crystals is a piece of the earth you're holding in your hand. So important. And it's really good to put your crystals out when the full moon, so they recharge.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. The lunar, the light of the moon, we don't know what it does, but it affects our pineal gland, which apparently has crystals in it.
It does. Calcite crystals. Calcite crystals. Yes.
So, and the pineal gland, governs our whole endocrine system, or partly governs it certainly is a very major player.
It is.
in our
And
endocrine system.
yes,
So there we're talking about the moon and crystals and
yes,
our body. So it's already, we know that there's a link with the crystals of the earth and our body and our moon.
that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. The moon is so important. The moon beautifies our fruit and vegetables. You
Does
know,
it?
it does
Yeah.
so much. And when it's so important. I mean, years ago, before we had electricity, women, you know, in the tribes, in the clans, they used to menstruate
Yeah.
with the moon.
Yeah.
You know, and mostly at the same time, because and then they used to go and they used to do this, their women, you know, ceremonies together, because it was, they believed that it was the most strongest, most spiritual time for a woman during her,
It is.
menstruational times. It was, and today it's just like dirty, and the, you know, the way that women think about it is so negative because of the way society has told us that it's so negative and awful, you know, but
Yeah.
it's not. Such a
Curse.
spiritual time.
It is a spiritual time. And I often say that to my patients, you know, they might have premenstrual tension, but the reason is because they're more sensitive, you
Yeah,
know. And so
yeah.
I remember, I mean, I don't menstruate anymore, but when I
No, nor
did,
do I.
I was more psychic then.
Yes.
I feel things more. I always
Yeah.
have this advice for husbands. I say to them, I say, don't say a word. You put your
Yeah.
arms around her,
Yeah.
keep quiet, and
Yeah.
pop a chocolate in her mouth.
That's
All you
right.
need to do. Don't give her advice, for God's sake.
Yeah. But also, if women, and I've done it because my book's coming out soon, but if women don't channel that negative PMS energy into something, channel it right into positive ways, channel it into something positive, then that's just going to build up and build up and build up. I find that, especially with my daughters, I've got 3 daughters, if they've had a rough month, a stressful month, if they don't channel that energy, then when it comes to their moon time, they will have a rather difficult, with more cramps and more PMS and stuff like that, because they haven't channeled the energy, you know?
Interesting. Yes, it's sort of blocked and stagnant
Yes,
level.
yes,
Right, how interesting.
yeah,
Really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, never
yeah,
thought. That's
yeah,
great idea.
yeah. It's really important to channel it, you know. I mean, that's what we used to do. Our ancestors used to do that. We used to do it through ceremony, through singing, through coming together with the women, you know, and
Yeah,
help each other, our sisters, get through this, through, you know, through the time. But yeah, it's
I think
beautiful.
women still do.
They do,
You know,
yeah, we do.
women
We come
talk,
together
they
to help
plan.
each other during that
Yeah,
time.
women do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so this is really amazing, because you said at the beginning about the scientific references and studies that reinforce the therapies and remedies from your book. You've got some scientific remedies in there as well. Yeah.
Well, I've got lots and lots and lots of scientific studies. So
Yes.
everything I said,
Say,
you know, the
you
thing
can
is,
back it
Joanne,
up. You can back it
yeah,
up with
yeah,
science.
I did that because, I mean, I've got, you know, 25 years of experience and I don't know how many thousands of people I've helped. But I don't think experience cuts it anymore. People want to see the science. So
Yes.
everything I said, I looked for, is there a study? Are there studies? And how does this all hold together? You know, so yes, it is. And in fact, they do find that stress, and this is just normal everyday stress, being a carer, too much work on your plate, you know, just ordinary everyday garden variety stress, it can affect the mitochondria of our cells and distort them so that our energy production is tired and sluggish. And of course, most of the mitochondria are in our brain. So people get brain fog, you know, and they get depressed because our mitochondria in our brain are affected by the stress. And I mean, that's a scientific fact now. We can't
Yes.
just, oh, you know, you're stressed out, go and take a holiday. It's quite a big lifestyle readjustment, how you see life, how you're going to take life forward, or how you're going to cope with the stress that you're under. How can you change things to make it a lighter carry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it? And how can we empower ourselves and take control of our health and healing using the powerful natural interventions? Because these have lasting recovery, don't they?
Yeah.
They do,
Yeah.
you know. So this is why your book is so important, because it helps every, you know, us ordinary people to demystify, the herbs. You bring it down
That's
to
the idea. Oh yeah, and not only the herbs, but how you got to where you are. That's the key. Demystify how. Once you understand how you got, once you can see it in black and white, after reading the book, I hope you think, gosh, that really resonates with me, and I want to change. I always say to my patients, look, first thing, food and mood. So you change your food.
yes,
Or like we say, cut the crap, all out, dump the junk, gone.
yes,
You eat healthy food, and we look at that rainbow diet, all the different colors of the vegetables, bring them
yeah,
in. So rainbow diet, using lots and lots of pulses to cleanse the bowel. Then we look at the mood. Hang out with people who make you feel good.
yes,
All those energy
yes.
vampires, goodbye. They go with you.
Goodbye. Yes.
Yeah, or you severely limit your time with them. If they're family, which they often are, just a little bit of time, then you go. So hang out with people who make you happy, and then try and up your game. Really try and have fun. Go out and have fun, have joy, laugh,
Yes.
get into nature, and then beyond that, I use loads of food remedies in my book. Things like chicken, like bone broth, very very nourishing.
And you can use the herbs, the
Yes.
medicinal herbs in your cooking, in your
Use them
smoothies.
in your cook. Yeah. But then I do say, Joanne, look, you do need a professional. This doesn't take the place of a professional.
Yes.
You need to see either a nutritionist or a homeopath or a naturopath or a medical herbalist.
Yes.
Somebody who really knows what they're talking about,
yes,
to help you on your journey.
Yeah.
Because there are herbs which carry a bit more whack than,
yes,
the garden ones. And you need those.
Yeah.
You need the right herb for you.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what, that's what you do. You cater it to the person. Yeah.
You cater it to the person, but very much, I think, about, and I don't mean it rudely, it's sort of educating the person how to empower themselves, to take their own life in their hands. And I want everyone to lead the best possible life they can, to be the best they can be, to have the most fun, to see whatever they want of the world, to be whatever they can be to the best level. So I want to help, and I'm sure I know you are. You're exactly the same with your show. We want people to to be expansive and be who you were born to be.
Yes.
So empowerment to be that person.
Yes. To live out the soul destiny, what the soul before we came here chose for us to live. It's so important. And to be of service while you do that. That's the most important thing.
But I think, you see, if you live in your soul purpose, you will be helping people.
Yes, exactly.
But you can't. It's our greatest joy is to help other people, or the earth or nature or animals.
Yes.
We love to help. That's in our human nature.
It is.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Our human nature is so beautiful. Oh,
it is. I say we can be angels and demons, really.
Yes.
And most of us. I mean, there's some people who have dark souls.
Yes.
Right? But usually that's probably through lack of love, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah, but most people want to be. Everyone wants to be liked.
Yes. And most people want to help. They just want peace. They want to help others. This is what's happening. I can really feel it. This thing that's coming through humanity, this unity. It's like, the powers that be, they want to separate us. Old, young, black, white, male, female, religion, politician, political parties. No, we're just people, and we've all got the same soul consciousness, and we all want peace and love for each other and for our children to go forward in this world.
Everybody wants that. I know. I was in my local post office, and there's a guy there. He's from India, and then another guy there who apparently is from Pakistan, and they're best friends. And I said, well, isn't that wonderful? Because your governments are not best friends at all. But the man on the ground, he doesn't care about that. He likes this guy. He thinks, you're my friend. We get on well. We have a laugh. We work together. Maybe we have dinner together. I don't know. But, the man on the streets, that's the billions of us. That's what we want.
Yes, it
We
is.
have to start, moving in that direction. And I don't think we have to fight. I think we just turn away from, like everyone's turned away from the news.
Yes,
I don't know
turn
very
away
many.
and build the new. Yeah,
People
that's
don't
it.
watch the news anymore.
No, or the
They watch
TV, or all them
no,
awful shows.
yeah. No, they don't. They don't. You're absolutely right. They're
Yeah.
looking at something more heart-centered,
Yes, more meaningful, more
more
spiritual,
meaningful.
more
Yeah.
fulfillment. Yeah, on a holistic level, mind, body,
Yeah.
and spirit.
And they're not watching all that demeaning rubbish.
No.
That stuff that demeans women, demeans
Yes.
watch it. And why would you watch that?
Yes.
I can't understand that.
I think
But
that's you can see that's fading out. It's fading out.
and
Traditional values, family values, love, caring,
yeah,
kindness. It's coming back, coming back.
great news, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's very brilliant. Yes, it's brilliant.
Really good
And
news.
where can we read your amazing book?
Okay, thank you. Well, it's not out yet, but you can pre-order it. Waterstones have it. Amazon has it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also sitting on my website, so
Yeah.
it's available for pre-order. There's also an audio version because not
Oh,
everyone can read.
wonderful.
Yeah, so
It was Watkins that published it?
Watkins are the publishers,
Yes.
yes. But they've directed me to Waterstones where people can pre-order. But if you want to pre-order the audio version, then you go on to www.audiobooks.co.uk and you can find
Wonderful.
it.
Have you got a picture? Have you got your book there?
No, it's
Oh, no,
not
no.
printed yet.
Oh,
No,
really?
no, it's not printed yet. It will soon be out. I think next month. It's on my website, but I'm afraid no, I don't have a picture of it at all.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's still hasn't quite manifested yet, but it's on its way.
beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
And I would just want to say, Joe, thank you for your beautiful wisdom and herbal knowledge that, is just so vital for today's people to empower themselves with their own health, and to come to you for when they have problems. It's really, really important. We're coming back to Mother Nature, and you are a vital part of that. So thank you for all your divine wisdom, and thank you for being on the Great Awakening Show again.
And thank you so much for inviting me. I always enjoy talking to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Lovely. That is